Hello again, everyone. I'm back, part two. I just worked a long day. I decked in the entire balcony, 2 stories up, and just had dinner with the fam. And I really don't want to study, but you know what? I'm here. I'm on question 108 of 112, AAA's contract administration, project management portion of the Florida Contractor's test. Now, I said this last time, and I'm going to say it again. The most important thing that I can tell you when you're going through these code books is write down what the index says when you have even a single, like, let me show you this index. Coming over here, say we have a question about combustible liquids, right? Your answer to your question is going to be one of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 references, right? So what are you going to do with a book that's this thick? Are you going to flip over here to 307.1, come back and look, flip over there to 307. I mean, no. What you do is you write down 307.1, and look, I'll scratch out the ones I've already used. 307.1, 307.4. It doesn't have to be neat. 307.5, and then it bumps to 414.10.1. I mean, good luck in a tense situation. Some of these have 3 or 4 places past the decimal. So even if you say 415.10.1.8, you go in here in 415, you're going to forget it. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. Your index is going to be the most helpful thing when you're looking through these code books. And another thing that I wanted to point out is don't sleep on the definitions. If it describes something, if your question says accessible means of egress is a blank and a blank way of egress travel from an accessible path. Now, you would think that would be over here in chapter 10, means of egress, but no. If it's describing what the thing is, accessible means of egress is, that's a definition, right? A lot of the answers are in chapter 2, definitions. And that's in a lot of the books. Most of these books have definitions. Some of them have definitions at the beginning of each chapter, the beginning of each section. Do not overlook the definitions. So when you're looking through this thing, if it's describing what something physically is, because when you go to look through a code, it's going to assume that you already know what it is. You're not going to go back here to accessible means of egress and it start describing what it is. It's going to give you codes, and if it's describing what it is a definition. So that's another helpful hint that I wanted to give you guys. But also, if you're looking through this index, right, and you just can't find what you're looking for, right, come over here, go to the table of contents. If you have some sort of construction knowledge, right, and say you want to look up a stop work order, right? Well, you know that it's in scope and administration, right? Or you should if you spend any time in this book. But don't sleep on the table of contents, because when we know where something is, this is how these sections are laid out. See that? Administration and enforcement. So rather than coming through here and flipping through all your stuff, now I know right where these things are because I use different colors, so these things stand out to me, right? But come over here to your table of contents and just read through your table of contents. Up there it is, stop work order. Look at this whole book is laid out in order. with all of the major steps. That's just a few things I wanted to share with you guys. Mainly, when you're looking through this index, in my experience from answering these questions, most of it is going to be found in it. So when you're in this index, right, and you're looking for an answer, when you come over here, like say you're looking up something about aerosols, right? Look at how many references there are. Write all of these down. And when you come over here, here's the ones that we just used, right? I'm going to scratch them out when I'm done so they don't confuse me, right? Scratch them out. See, I'm all over this page with my references. So now, once I've located what I'm looking for, and it's got numerous references, heck, half the time, I'll write it down if it's one reference, just so that, like, look right here. Whatever I was looking for was 2303.1.4. I can't afford to be flipping through this book and lose 30 seconds because I've got to flip back to this index during that test. So write that stuff down. Write your references down. Write them down, write them down, write them down. Till next time. I'm in here exhausted. What time is it? It's 8 o'clock at night. And I'm exhausted. I worked all day. I studied for 2.5 hours this morning. At 4 o'clock in the morning, you can make time. Adjust your sleep schedule. I'm about to go to sleep here shortly, 45 minutes or so. I'm going to go to bed early. I'm not going to sit there and scroll tonight. I'm not going to sit there and watch 2 or 3 movies or anything like that. I've got 8 days until my test. And that's my focus. It's been my focus for months, right? I'm just documenting this journey right beforehand. But for months, I've adjusted my sleep schedule to where I'm in bed before 9 o'clock. And I'm up at 4:30. 4:30 at the latest. If I get up at 4:30, I feel dirty. You know what I mean? Because this test is everything. This is the only way you'll level up. And this is the only way that you're going to make time for me. Because when I get home, I still have a family. I need to spend the evenings with them. I'm sneaking in here right now for a little 20, 30-minute session. But those mornings, it's everything. You don't have to take from your family. You can just go in there in your quiet place and just study. So I hope that helps. It helped me. It completely changed the game for me when I changed my sleep schedule for this test. And I think that I'll keep it that way once I start administering contracts and managing projects, right? Because the early bird gets the worm.